Hey, this is Phil Lilley, Lilley's Landing Resort and Marina on Lake Taneycomo. Going to do one cast this morning. It's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the 4th of October. It's Thursday. And I've boated here. Oh, there's the pump station, so I'm just above the dock, middle of the lake. No generation. It's real foggy out. The sun hadn't really come out of the clouds yet to burn off the fog. Playing around with my dissolved oxygen meter that we got. Right here it says it's 52.5 degrees water, and the it's 5.7 on the DO meter. Dropped a little bit, 5.6. It's kind of interesting to watch it. It's varying between 5.9 and 5.5. It's dropped as low as 5.2. Like I said, I'm just kind of getting acquainted with it, so still playing with it a little bit, learning how to use it and seeing the variations of the. Get on the trolling motor here. Guy's going a little too fast in fog. And throwing big wakes. People in a hurry. Okay. Well, now it's at 5.9. So I know you're supposed to move it around a lot in the water to get an accurate reading, and that's kind of what I've been doing, but I've been letting it just kind of sit there too. But 5.9, even 5.5 is really good for this time of year. I've caught 3 fish out here. I'm using it's a 16th ounce sculpin and burnt orange jig with an orange head, 2-pound line. And I've caught 3 really nice rainbows out. It was really pretty, been in the lake for a while. And they fought hard, so there's nothing wrong with the DO here. You will see rainbows when you hook them. If they just come in with hardly even fighting at all, that means they don't have the oxygen. It's like running at a real high elevation, and you don't have the oxygen, so you just don't have the energy. That's kind of what happens here when the oxygen gets low. So if you catch a fish and it doesn't fight very hard, that's probably the reason, but not necessarily. Definitively, that's might not be the answer. And it does affect them feeding too. If the deal gets real low, I just missed one. They're feeding good this morning. Like I said, I've only been out 15 minutes and caught 3. And I should have had that one. Yeah, phooey. Oh well. Another miss. They're not midging this morning very much at all, so I brought my fly rod out with some zebra midges, and I'll try that here in a minute. But could have been a bite. I am watching my line. See if it goes slack. It must be on the bottom. I've had some people ask me about that rod I broke yesterday. It actually was a rod that was left at the resort years ago. We couldn't find the owner. Actually Dwayne said it was a very old rod. Winston had not made that rod for, he said, 10, 12 years. And it was an entry-level Winston. Winston is, there he is. Winston's a pretty high dollar. They have very expensive rods. So when I said Winston, I think a lot of people that know what a Winston fly rod is, they cringed thinking it was a $1,000 rod, but it really isn't. It was not, and I think it had been broken before too. But what happens when you have rods that are like in 4-piece, if this was a 2-piece rod, and if this piece starts to slip out and it's only about halfway in, you put pressure on that joint, and that's what causes the break, that looseness, and doesn't have the strength there that it's designed to have. And I've done it to a couple other fly rods. So was not a real bad deal. And if you have those expensive rods, you know, they're warranted. There's a reason you pay that much for a fly rod. You know, they can afford to replace that rod 2 or 3 times over without losing money. So you send it in and pay like $50 or something, you get a new rod or a new section. But I'm not going to mess with that rod. It was not my favorite rod, so. But boy, I caught a lot of fish in that wind. I ended up going down and fishing across in that boat ramp on that flat. As the water came up, those fish were going up shallower and shallower as the water's coming up, looking for insects. Oh, I missed another one. And I tossed that scud up there in that shallow water, and if they saw it land, they'd run over to it. I mean, they were really being aggressive. It was fun. I did hook a big brown for a second. I don't know if that was before or after one cast. There in the Narrows. I think it was before. I saw it and cast it to it, and he took it. It was over 20 inches. It was probably 22, 23 inch brown. But they get in that area, and browns stand out. There's another bite. They stand out in that clear water where the rainbows are dark and you really can't see them too well, but the browns are, most of the time, are pretty light color, and you can see them. Okay, one more cast. And they're supposed to run a lot of water this afternoon. They were supposed to run 4 yesterday, and they only ran 3, but still the lake level got up to 709. That's a lot of water for this time of year. They gotta pump a lot of liquid oxygen into those turbines to keep the water up. to keep the oxygen up. There he is. In the lake when they run that much. So I had missed 2 and caught 2. Oh, he is fat. Look at that. Ooh, wonder what he's eating. Interesting. All the fish I've caught so far, you know, really pretty. They're not stalkers. All the fins, I mean, they're just really colored up. So, all right, thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.